Welcome to the Good Life. Thank you for stopping by. I'm Patrick Harney. Today I have a wonderful episode full of laughter and just fun movie talk with a filmmaker, friend, and film enthusiast named Ryan Cole, who I am really excited. I'm really excited to have on the show this week. I can't talk. Yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, hit that notification button so you can be alerted when a new episode comes out. And let's get into the episode. All right, Mr. Ryan Cole. Thank you very much for being here, man. What is that? What are you pouring?
This is just plain water.
Is it? What does the bottle look like? Because it looks fancy.
I believe at one time this was fancy water, and now it's even fancier because it came from the tap.
Nice. That's funny. So how you doing, man? You doing all right?
I'm well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I like the stash. It looks great.
Thank you. Yes.
You know, it's funny because I actually just a little while ago, because I had come back to Michigan to film something, and just before that, because I had to shave for it, and just before that, I shaved just a mustache and a little patch here, and I waited to see how long it would take my girlfriend to notice when she got home from work. 30 minutes went by, and she
And you're doing this?
yeah, I'm just like, "Hey, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
Are you good?" And, and then and then finally she sat down and she was on the phone with her mom, and she's just sitting there, and she kinda, like, looks over and, like, double takes and just mouths to me like, "What is that?" And I started laughing, and she, like, just wouldn't stop staring at it, and so after she got off the phone, I had asked her, I said, "So what do you think?" And she's like, "I don't know. Give me time." And then, but after, like, a couple of days, she was like, I don't hate it. It's
Hey,
alright.
that's pretty good.
I don't hate it." So, yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll shave it again. My beard's it's a little rowdy right now. It needs to
Let me
get,
see. Let's
cleaned
get
up
a
a little bit.
full view.
It's like
Rowdy.
longer than scruff, but, I need to just trim it here, just
Right.
clean it a little bit.
Shape it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Take it under your control.
Yes. So you went to okay, for all of you who don't know, because, like, really, how would you? I met
Impossible.
I met you on a stunning film called Debutante, that you directed, my
That's
friend,
very kind.
and,
Technically, I did direct it.
I will say, it is beautiful.
Thank you.
It's kinda dark. Not kind of, it's very dark, but it's, like, fancy dark, you know?
It's you gotta give a little sugar to take the medicine, I think.
Yes, exactly. So I met you there, and that's where I also met Hayden, and Mike claims that I met him on that as well.
Technically, I'm sure there was a handshake involved at some point.
Yeah, I feel bad that I don't remember that, but I swear that he was not. I don't think we ever actually officially met. We were both on set at the same time, but I don't think we ended up being able to meet.
That's probably true.
That's my story, and I'm gonna stick with it.
It would have been 2 ships passing in the night. Semaphore, it's too dark for semaphore. No, we
Yes.
did meet, and that was what a lovely thing, huh? Because, uh, we got along immediately and had a
Mhm.
lot of fun, and
Yeah, yeah, it was a lot of fun, um,
I hope, I
and
guess I shouldn't presume because I was the one trying to create an atmosphere. I was hectic.
you were like a man on a mission, but I really respected that because like, I could tell that you were clear on what you wanted to capture, and I think you captured it very well, in my opinion.
I I I feel pretty good about it, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, obviously, it was that was my first real directing thing,
Mhm.
and so I learned a lot about the practical time management and things like that, um, which is something you have to learn, I think, only by doing it.
Mm, yeah,
And I missed a lot of stuff I wanted to do, but I think in the end, maybe some of those limitations worked for us.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, because I mean, when you I guess the more limitations that you have on it, the more creative you need to be, right?
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you might just sink into the mud, but
That's true.
hopefully we were certainly there were some things where we took advantage of the fact there was I tried to have so no one has seen this movie, so I'll give a brief, very brief
Which is sad. I hope that
summary.
changes.
Yeah, I should put it up somewhere. I
I mean, you spent all that time doing it. Why not, It's freaking
I
gorgeous, dude. Seriously. I'm not
I'm
just
just
saying that to blow smoke because you're on the show. I mean it.
I'm bad at that sort of thing. But, it's a short film called Debutante that Patrick was in. We had a nice small little group, and it's
Mhm.
about a young woman on the eve of her debutante ball, the night of her debutante ball, sort of, is surrounded by, monstrosities in a way.
Mm. Mm.
So it's sort of in these sumptuous settings and, hopefully it's kinda, gives some thrills and chills.
Yes, yes. And the creative decisions for the cinematography. I mean, I know I keep saying it's stunning, but I mean, like, I can't get off of that alone. The whole film, I think, is really well told, the story and everything. But the shots that you captured, or that you chose to capture, were really unique and really cool, and I loved the music, for it as well.
The music was fun. I mean, other than the ones that obviously I didn't do, that score was Hayden and I in the basement of his work. We
Wow.
just had some instruments and we just played kind of things, single notes or just sounds.
Mhm.
We did the, filling a glass with water, and we did some of these in there to get some of the sounds in the movie. I mean, it was and then layered them all together,
Yeah,
um, which is, can't afford much music. You have to make your own. It's an exciting,
yeah,
exciting.
yeah, exactly. And then, oh, by the way, before I say the next thing, the reason why I commented on the stash was because I wanted to, and I completely forgot in like mid thought, is I wanted to pay a little homage,
Very
little
nice.
Ted Lasso with the man with the stash shirt
Very
on.
nice.
So yeah, just anyway, no, nobody really cares, and you don't either. It's okay. I'm sorry,
I
but
haven't seen that program.
what? Dude, it's so good. It's so
I am not
heartwarming.
I'm not very good. I'm not very up to date on what I watch. And I'm usually about 6 months behind everyone else, and that's
Okay,
at best.
okay,
I don't know
great.
why it is, but
So that'll make, some of the talking points later in the show very exciting. Um
it is funny. You say, "What are you disappointed by?" And the movie I'm looking I'm like, Ministry of Fear from 1944. Well, I didn't get everything I was and that's a recent watch for me, so
Alright,
break out
um
your old encyclopedias, folks, because it's gonna get bad.
But, so to continue on what I was gonna say before I jumped off of that onto that tangent, um, when I got approached by Marty for Be Safe, which is a short film that will be coming out, to BD or, TBD, but,
TBD.
um, is was so much fun to work on, and that was Mike and Hayden, they directed it, co-directed it, um, and Marty produced on it, and I remember when she had said that you were involved, I got so happy because
Right?
like, I feel like every time we have a conversation, like, we do is just, like, laugh at each other and with each other,
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
really fun,
Oh, yeah.
and so that made set even more fun than it already was, Did you go to the you went to the premiere of it.
I
How was
did.
that?
We missed you.
Oh, man, I
We got
know,
a
I wanted
nice
to be there.
message from Patrick before the film, and I tried to talk to the image on the screen. Evidently, that was a video, and that was not sort of a Wizard of Oz situation.
Yeah, it
So
wasn't a live
I
FaceTime.
did feel quite embarrassed about it. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It
Yeah.
was very cool seeing everyone, their family and friends coming to watch. It was
Mm,
a good little. We had a lot of people from sort of the greater Lansing film community there.
mm.
And Patrick, have you been to the Lansing Media Center before?
The Lansing Media Center, I
I
don't
know they use it
believe.
for like the Capital City Film Festival a bit.
Yeah, no, I've never been. Mm-mm.
What a cool space. I really hadn't been in there for an appreciable amount of time before.
Mm.
And enormous. We were watching on a good, I mean, someone would have to, probably a 10,000 square foot screen. No, a very substantial, a real movie theater screen. And what
Oh,
a way to
wow.
watch something. It's a rare
Yeah,
treat to be able to watch something you were a part of on that. And uh, it looked great up there. It was so much fun
yeah.
feeling feeling it within your chest.
Yeah, yeah, and that's how it should be, like and it was funny because Mike had texted me, he sent some pictures, like, during or afterward, and he had said that there was a point where, when my character is, um man, well, I can't really say what I'm doing, but there's a part where things get a little rough, there's some action in it,
Oh yeah.
and, and he said that he heard somebody yell out, "Someone stop him." And, like, genuinely,
Oh
and
yeah.
how that made me happy because that's exactly what I was going for, like, I wanted it to be brutal, I wanted it to be, like, very, almost primal, and,
People were turning away from the screen. A legitimate reaction.
wow,
Rare, rare.
that's
Very
cool,
cool. Yeah,
that's really cool. Also traumatizing, I'm sure, for them, so I'm sorry, but,
no
um
doubt.
but, you know, I'm happy because I did my job, hopefully,
Yeah,
and hope everybody sees it that way.
and we met a bunch of people. I mean, at least I did. I think a lot of the cast was new to you as well,
Mhm, yeah.
and
Well, I
some of the
think
crew
all of
members.
all of the cast was new to me. Yeah, because I mean, there was only 4 of us, really,
That's true. Yeah,
but, yeah, all the cast and, a lot of the crew, I mean, really, the only people that I knew was you, supposedly, allegedly, Mike, Hayden, and Marty, and that was it.
yeah.
Oh, no, 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 I'm sorry, and Grant, also.
Grant would
Yep.
have been there right with Mike probably too, or maybe he was
Yeah.
also there in the garden, so you would know Grant.
Yes. Yes, he was there at the garden, so I did know Grant. Um but yeah, I mean, that film was so much fun, and I remember Marty sending me the, like, character breakdown for the audition, and I saw Keith on there, and then I saw David, which was played by the amazing Owen Squires Smith. I don't know why, but I always wanna say Owen Squires squared. I don't
Hey, that's a good name too.
but it's not his name, It is a good
No,
name, but not his name.
could be a
Um,
nickname.
could be.
Let's tell him.
We should.
Owen, we got a nickname for you. It's not that far off from your name.
But so I caught the character breakdown, and I had asked Marty, I said, "Well, because she had said, we'd love for you to send in an audition for one of these roles." I was like, "All right, great." And, so she told me, "We'd like you to audition for Keith." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Can I also audition for David? I mean, I think it seems like a cool character, fun character also." And she goes, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, that's fine, I guess. Yeah, sure." I don't remember if I ended up actually auditioning for David, but I remember her saying, "Yeah, you were one of the first people I thought of, to play Keith." And I said, "Really?" I said, "Well, that's very flattering. Thank you. Well, so what's the character like?" And she goes, "He's very brutal. He's just kind of an ass, and, he's very ego-driven and he's kind of like an emotionally abusive boyfriend. And I was like, and I was your first thought.
Yeah, what a compliment.
So how about David? What about that character? You know? Um, no, but I understand what she was talking about because I've been told I have bad guy eyebrows by my acting teacher. He told me I have bad guy eyebrows, and so um yeah,
We look.
he, he said I should be prepared. He
Oh.
said he said I should be prepared to play many bad guys. So it's fine. It's all right. They're usually more fun to play. Um, but anyhow, I loved that film, and I'm also super stoked about it because you were also in the film, my guy.
Yes, I was.
The well, I guess okay, there wasn't four of us cast members. There was five. Well, a little more than five because there were some featured parts. But Mr.
7.
James,
Yes, I did have an unspoken named creep playing your buddy.
you were my stoner buddy.
What a natural pairing of two freaks. Yeah, I mean, hey, as long as you're not giving me any dialogue, I think you're making the right decision. You want me to
Dude,
hang my belly out?
I
I'll do
remember
it.
I remember I saw you after you got into wardrobe and you got the makeup and everything on, and you came into the kitchen and you were fully in it. You were fully in the character, and I looked at you and I said, "Wow, you look like shit." And you were just like, "Nice." You went into the living room. I was like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be great." That was some of my most favorite scenes to shoot were those scenes because I feel like we just kept like it was really hard to dial down the laughter.
Hopefully, it wasn't making it harder on everyone else. That's always the worry with one of those is
Yeah.
I'm wasting everyone else's time, but I'm really enjoying myself.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
wasn't in character in an annoying way. Let's get the record straight. I was
that's true.
being funny.
Yeah.
I'm very funny.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you are very comedic.
Okay, I was, I was waiting for the compliment.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on. Let's talk movies, shall we?
Yes, always.
Because I feel like we always have great film conversations, and you are always very in depth with your analysis of film
I hope to be.
and the cinema. Um, what would you say is the best, most recent film? So like timeline wise, in terms of like in recent years or
Something
whatever.
relevant.
So something newer. What's the best? And there's a reason why I'm asking that because I want to talk more about the state of the industry. But
Okay.
what's the best film that you've seen recently and why?
I've got a great one for you, Patrick.
Okay,
Last night, so this is pretty recent,
yeah, very recent.
I watched a recently released film
Hmm.
called Crimes of the Future by David Cronenberg.
Okay.
Came out this spring. Incredible movie.
Mm.
I'm a big Cronenberg head. I'm a Cronin nut, as we call ourselves. And I was watching this movie and just being so happy. Do you like David Cronenberg?
Name me some films that David Cronenberg has done. Like some more,
His big.
yeah, his big stuff. His
I
his
think
hits.
I think he's best known for things like Scanners or Videodrome. He's a Canadian
Mm.
filmmaker,
Mhm.
um,
Okay.
especially kind of pioneering work in what people would call the body horror genre. So a lot of these sort of 70s and 80s movies like Scanners, Videodrome, um, I can't pull on any other names right now.
You said the
And,
same 2 the same 2 movie yeah, you're a big Cronin head. Saying the
and then he
same
moved
2
on.
movies.
Oh, you know what? I got some Eastern Promises,
Okay, I've
which
heard
is
of
a
it.
Vigo. History of Violence.
Yes, yes.
He's had
That's
a
with Viggo
50-year
Mortensen, right?
career, and this Crimes of the Future is also Vigo.
Oh, interesting. Great actor.
And 50 50-year career, and he's been independent the entire time.
Wow.
He's incredible. He shoots, you know, primarily in Canada, in and around Toronto,
Mm,
and he's just a brilliant director. This is his most recent movie, and I loved it. And it's about, surgery, sort of various elective surgery, and it's a return to the body horror stuff for him. And
mm.
it's so comforting to watch these
Aw.
organs being removed from people's bodies. There's something about his filmmaking that you're in such good hands that.
Oh, you know there's people you could see about that, right?
And you know what? And I'm gonna see David Cronenberg about it because I know he's gonna give me the medicine I want. Dead Ringers, there's another. I mean, if you want, I could
Mm,
sit here and try and see if I can remember his whole filmography,
it's
which
okay.
I will do.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will.
There's a
Um,
recent movie for you. It's from a old director, but that
that's
counts for something.
yeah, no, no, it's an experienced director.
Yes.
So what makes his style so good to you? Is it the storytelling? Is it the creativity in the way it's shot and edited? Is it the performances? What is it?
I think, to me, story is often a secondary or tertiary consideration.
Mm,
Um, Certainly, I often have trouble with story in my own stuff. Cronenberg is, I would say, ideas and visual first,
mm,
and you sort of some very potent imagery that is going to linger with you. And he doesn't shy away from very challenging ideas.
mm,
So it's something I appreciate about him. He's a great stylist. Uh, his worlds are often part of the body horror thing with him in particular is the fusion of technology and the biological.
mm,
Videodrome has a very remarkable sequence in which a person's hand fuses with a gun, and
whoa.
you've heard maybe the phrase "Long live the new flesh." That's
Mm,
from Videodrome. I think it's indicative of a lot of his that work, and even in something like A History of Violence or Eastern Promises, he's very concerned with the physical human form, which is I think is surprisingly rare in movies. I think people don't really appreciate how he physicalizes feelings in you and physicalizes abstract ideas. And it's something that you can't get from very the only recent film I think did the same sort of thing, certainly in the same genre, is Titane.
mm,
I forget the director's name. She's incredible. French director, really brilliant. Titane, highly recommended, which deals with similar imagery and thoughts. I think incredible, incredible movie.
interesting. It's one thing that's always struck me is like the films that you always talk about. Um, they're like, how do you find these films? Because like a lot of these films, like I've never heard of, and I'd like to think that I'm somewhat kind of entrenched in movies that are coming out and all that stuff, but I mean, I guess there are always so many films that come out that you never hear about because marketing, I mean, a lot of these films, they don't get marketed or they don't have, a very big marketing budget or they rely on the fan base of the people, to follow them and keep in touch with them, but
Right.
yeah, yeah, so where do you find these films?
Cronenberg, there are certain things where you just see one film by a director or by an artist. It could be a writer,
Mm.
could be an actor, and then I am a prolific Googler and
Mhm.
Wikipediaist, And so I'll spend hours just going through lists of movies or not generally lists actually, but maybe filmographies, discographies, or lately, and this is, I'll say it, maybe pathetic, I will just look through lists of movies that were released in a year and
Mm.
just click each link and just find, does that appeal to me?
Like, I don't think that's pathetic though to find a list of films, to because I mean, one that just sometimes you can find gems by doing that, you know what I mean?
It's true. Um, but you know what? Hey, that's not all I do. I also rely on the kindness of the good people at Criterion, and I follow their updates,
Nice.
religiously. So
Nice. So, it's interesting that you said that, story tends to be secondary a lot of the time, because I feel like that's so true, especially now. Like, it's sad when, and Taylor and I were just talking about this, like, it's sad when we get excited that we just saw, like, a good story. You know what I mean? Like, that we're surprised that we just saw a good story at the theater, you know? Like, we went and saw Top Gun: Maverick, okay? And that movie was so good. I loved it. Um, it was so entertaining. Yeah, it was kinda cheesy in some parts, but it paid, like, the it paid homage to the original perfectly, I thought, and also Val Kilmer. Um, because when I had heard that he was gonna be attached to it, given some of his health issues, I was wondering, I was like, "Oh, man." I was like, "Is this gonna be bad?" But the way they did it was perfect. Um, but I think what I liked about it was that, like, finally, there was a big entertaining movie that didn't have any sort of agenda or message or anything in it. It was just pure entertainment. Because I feel like every movie now is just trying to, like, jam some sort of message that they're trying to push or agenda down your throat, and, like, I just wanna be entertained when I go to the movie theater, you know what I mean? Like, we went and saw Thor, the new Thor movie, and it's supposed to be a superhero movie, and it was basically a romantic comedy in space, which I'm fine with romantic comedies, but not for Thor, for 1, and 2, like, kids are gonna go see this movie, right? And they say shit multiple times in the movie. At one point, Russell Crowe's character who plays Zeus talks about, this massive orgy that's gonna be happening, and then tells Thor that he's uninvited to the orgy. I'm like, "There's kids in." I'm sitting in a theater and there's kids in here.
you gotta invite them. They gotta learn to be inclusive.
You're
I
awful.
I'm the exact opposite, I would say,
Really?
because I think so. I come at it from a very, what some might call, pretentious angle,
Okay.
but I for me it's I don't separate the entertainment element from sort of the artistic
Mhm,
goals. Um, I I don't want to see something generally that's just entertainment. The occasions I do, I'm watching something like a lovely Charles Bronson film.
mhm,
But I think there's also, am I watching it on purely an entertainment level? I don't even think so in that situation.
mhm,
I'm also, I resented deeply not being able to watch uh, movies with adult themes as a kid.
mhm,
Um, and so I did take it upon myself, and I think it made me a better creative and a better thinker.
mhm,
I don't think, see, I did not enjoy kids' entertainment as a kid.
mhm,
I wanted what the adults were watching,
yeah,
and um, I have no childhood nostalgia. I have no uh, appreciation for innocence. I wanted to get to thinking and the good stuff and
But see, thinking that okay, so let me clarify my statement. I'm fine with films that and movies that have a good story that's thought provoking. I like that. I like films that create a dialogue or films that get you thinking about something or get you talking with someone about that topic in the film or whatever. I like that. What I don't like is a film just telling me what to think
well,
and
of
telling me
course,
what to feel. You know what I mean? Like, no, no, no. Let me discover that myself. You know,
that's
like I'm
sloppiness.
yeah, and that's all that's in movies now, is it's not like well, I guess in terms of like mainstream movies or bigger movies, is it's not, "Hey, here's just a little nugget. Now you take that, go talk amongst your friends and family and come up with your own conclusion." It is, "Here's the conclusion. This is what you have to feel, and we're gonna jam this down your throat, and you're gonna leave the theater, knowing exactly what we wanted you to feel and think." I
But
don't like
you've
that.
you've you've hit upon the operative word there, which is that's mainstream.
Mhm,
Now that's been the trait of mainstream movies since the dawn of cinema. They've always been because when you're appealing to a wide audience where it's as much a commercial endeavor or more so than an artistic endeavor,
mhm,
the message functions more as an element of marketing always. I don't think you can expect, and this is the true cynic in me, I don't think you can expect quality out of those movies where they are they're temporary corporations rather than works trying to examine something.
mm,
So, um, I mean, not that I can't really speak on the Marvel movies
mhm,
more broadly because I haven't really seen them since it's probably been a decade since I've seen one. So I just found that those weren't for me in general, and I didn't tune in. I think
mm,
that's why I dig into the things I like, and I watch a lot of movies from international markets and going. I mean, when I look at my end of the year list,
mhm,
the bulk of what I watch, I think, is located in the 70s and 80s, especially the 70s, because especially in Hollywood, there was a brief shining window where, with the disintegration of the studio, I mean, so many people can say this better, but the disintegration of the studio system, the money was there and none of the direction was there, and all the
mm,
Louis B. Mayers of the world were dying off. So, interesting moment, and you kind of find those all over. But yeah, I think the idea that the pushing a message or whatnot is a new phenomenon. I don't think that's true. I think it's just when you're living in it, it's
mhm.
so much more potent. But if you're 10 years even removed from it, those things aren't as obvious, and then you enjoy or you watch on a different level.
Yeah.
So you can watch some pretty like jingoistic movies from the 80s, and they don't have that same sort of interaction with present day that the equivalent would now.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, and I think that it's, I think you're right. I don't think it's a new thing, but it's the way that they're going about it now, um, that bothers me. It's almost like it's not it's not necessarily woven within the story. I feel as though now it's so much of, "Here is the message that we're trying to send. Oh, and also here's a story in the background playing for you." That's how it feels to me. Whereas Whereas in previous, times, it was I feel that was maybe more woven into the story in a way that, um, was a little bit more seamless. You know what I mean?
When are you thinking back to? I'm curious.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking back to films even back into the 40s and 50s and 60s, and I mean, all the way up to maybe early 2000s. I don't know. I feel like it's, and maybe it's because the climate now in society is so hostile and, and divisive and polarizing, that maybe it just seems that way. Maybe I'm wrong, and thinking that it wasn't so in your face back in the day. Maybe I just kinda look for it now because I'm expecting it from everywhere. I don't know. But
But
yeah,
I
I don't.
also don't think story is the be end all be
The be
uh-oh,
end all.
be end all. What is that phrase?
The end all be all,
Thank you.
right?
Yeah, no, 100%, and I just could
Okay.
not pull
Is the be all end, or be end all.
it's the there's ending and you're being there and yada, yada,
Just gotta
yada.
find it along the way.
I'm I I'm usually, with very few exceptions,
Mhm,
story to me is the excuse for interesting, visually related ideas.
mhm,
So story is just a structure to kind of keep people's attention.
mhm.
Now, there's exceptions to that. I think there's plenty of movies where I'm invested in the story. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I filmmaking, I don't think is the avenue that I think storytelling best occurs in, strangely.
Do you think it'd be with, like, novels?
I think the written word is
Yeah.
maybe the best, um, and that might be a temporal thing,
Mm.
the fact that you can jump around and that's sort of part of it.
I think
But
I could
for me,
agree
I
with
think
that.
huh?
I think I could agree with that, though,
I
of
think
what you're
cinema
saying.
is so oriented towards, um, more surreal and being able to approach interesting ideas or subject matter without the confines of narrative, and it's
Mm,
only the fact that these are huge endeavors that require a lot of money to make them happen, which is a shame, but a necessity,
mhm,
um, to some extent,
yeah,
that they're not as inclined to reject story. And so when I watch something that is maybe a little bit less concerned with that structure, that's when I'm really impressed. I think that's something Cronenberg is. I like when the story is an excuse to
mm,
get something else, and it's just sort of there to pull you along.
interesting. I like that description. That's nice. I hadn't really thought of it that way.
Because
Um,
it's sort of the difference between art and I think of it as the difference between an art and a riddle. So if it's a riddle is almost the encapsulation of story because it's all coming towards this one thing, and then it's never quite repeatable. But in a good story, the things that you latch on to are things that are not the story. It's characters, it might be a thematic thing that are drug along, and the story is there to facilitate those other things.
mm, hmm,
Otherwise, you end up with a riddle movie where you watch it and there's a twist at the end and you go, "Oh," and it doesn't have to be a twist, but this is it's easier in this to talk about this way.
yeah,
But then upon rewatching it, it was all focused on the story and the rest of it falls apart completely and it has no rewatch value. And then
mm,
that's nothing. That's just whispers in the wind at that point,
yeah.
a disturbing thing.
That's a good point. Did you ever watch the movie Knives Out?
I did.
I loved that movie. I don't know about you, but
I enjoyed
I
it.
I really enjoyed the because I feel like I'm pretty good at being able to guess what's gonna happen or who did it or whatever. And that movie,
Gotcha.
yep. And I even watched it a second time to try and find, all right, let me find let me find little clues, you know,
Yeah.
and I still struggled and got lost. Maybe it's just because 'cause I'm an idiot, I don't know, but
No, I would say I was led along, and it's a pleasure.
yeah,
It's a pleasure to be led along.
yeah.
That's
They're
what you
they're
want. I mean, if you figure it out too fast, that's horrible.
that's true. They're making another one.
Knives In.
Knives
This
Out,
is
or
folks,
Knives Outer.
watch Debutante. This is what you the kind of humor you can expect.
There's humor in that movie.
We're having all kind. Oh, it's a laugh riot. We're having all kinds of fun.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, no, so they're gonna make a second one, and it's gonna be a new case, that, Daniel Craig's character has. It's a new case and with a whole new set of people along.
Detective Detective Leghorn,
No, it was,
Detective Foghorn Leghorn.
yeah, yeah, really. Shoot, what was his name, though, in that movie? It was something
What?
French,
Oh yes,
um,
maybe
so
Cajun.
something Blanc.
You're there.
Ah,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna look it up.
I'm the that's thanks. Thanks for bailing me out, man. No, I guess I
This
shoulda
is
came prepared.
high and dry.
Here's my question for you, in
Yes.
terms of kind of again, sticking with the film industry, is why is it that DC thinks that they can save the DC extended universe again, even though when I shouldn't say again, that they think that they can save it again. Not that it has been saved and they need to save it again, but that they think that they can save it yet again. Why
This
is
is
that?
this is a lot of twists like Knives Out. Now I gotta keep up with this. So, I must admit, I'm not totally up to date on DC.
Yeah, you're not missing anything.
Um Huh?
You're not missing anything at all. Let me get
Um,
let me bring you
Give
up
me
to
some context,
speed.
and I'll give you my uninformed and I'm not even in the industry, I'm like some chump,
No,
so
you're in the industry. You're a filmmaker, you're creative, you're an artiste. Just to give you some context or get you fully up to date.
yes,
So basically, Jason Momoa, he's playing Aquaman, and in an Aquaman 2, Amber Heard, who was, the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial,
I've
there
heard.
was a petition to get her removed from that movie because people didn't want her in that movie. And so
Okay,
apparently her screen time got cut down to like less than 10 minutes. Um, so there was that controversy with the Aquaman movie. And then there's the movie The Flash that is coming out with Ezra Miller. Michael Keaton is reprising his role as Batman in this
oh, that's
movie,
fun.
apparently. Yeah, it's fun, except Ezra Miller has been basically going on, yeah, I don't know if you know this, but
This has made it even to these dumb ears.
I mean, this man is like on a rampage of threatening this Hawaiian couple, saying he was gonna kill them, and he threw a chair at them. He ended up got a restraining order get put against him from them, and then he went to their house saying he was gonna kill them, and then somehow he captured or, like, kidnapped this 13 or this young girl or the no, it was this mom and her 3 kids or something, and they're staying at his ranch, and then this one girl came out saying that he or the parents came out saying that he groomed their younger daughter,
Oh,
giving her, like, alcohol and drugs at, like, 16 and 15 years old or 14 years
okay.
old.
Ooh, I didn't know the full extent of this.
Yeah, and so what does DC come out and say, or Warner Brothers or whoever's ahead of it? I don't even know who's the head of it. What do they come out and say? They say, "We will be, suspending indefinitely any future projects with Ezra Miller."
And that excludes this current Flash film?
Yeah, that one's still gonna come out.
So it must be in post.
Well, it was, but they pushed the release date back. My guess is in hopes for some of this to die down. But I'm like, they just canceled the Batgirl movie. That cost $90 million to make, and they just completely canceled it. Like, they're shelving it. They're saying it's not gonna come out. It just wasn't up to the standard. But yet, yeah, let's release this movie that has a dude as the lead that's, like, on a psychotic break and is, like, kidnapping people and threatening to kill people, and he's been arrested, like, 4 times. Yeah, let's put that out there, and let's make him some more money. Like, I don't know.
Well, I think that's the
That's DC for you.
I think that's sort of capitalist Hollywood filmmaking for you. Because as long as the money's rolling in, why stop?
Yeah.
I mean,
Jeez.
that's morals don't necessarily pay the bills.
Yeah.
The very extensive bills of I'm sure a lot of hardworking executives. If you're out there, hardworking executives at the major studios, I salute you and your hard work. Um, I'm sure you've been giving wonderful notes to people who are just desperate to receive them, and we here are all we're all looking out for you. So take it.
Oh, man. And
I
this is
don't. It, it's a lot of money to be thrown around for things that I. How many movies could you and I do that would not be harming people for that amount of money that they can throw around willy nilly?
like, all of them? All of the
Isn't
movies?
isn't it's incredible? I mean, not to get all Walter Benjamin, but there's a great in terms of the
Who was
viewing
Walter
audience,
Benjamin?
huh?
Who was that? Walter who?
Walter
Benjamin?
Benjamin, incredible theorist, cultural theorist, film theorist who died during World War II, escaping the Nazis.
Mm.
Um, more happy news. And yeah, this did happen in the 30s, so it's also relevant. But he's a genius, and he wrote about the fact that filmmaking is so democratized, or at least the viewing audience, the opportunities are so democratized because there's no one thing you have to go see. So each showing of a film is as valid as any other.
Mm.
Whereas if you want to go see the Mona Lisa, you have to go see the Mona Lisa. Seeing it on
Yeah.
a postcard does not suffice. Yet now you can watch, and maybe we'll say there's better or worse viewing experiences. But if you watch it on your TV at home and you watched it on the theater, well, you still watched it either way. So
Yeah.
why isn't that reflected necessarily in the way the money is distributed? Partly because we do not fund the arts, and so there's no incentive to. So then this kind of thing is an inevitability where you have people who are just playing with money, and they're thinking about ways to use existing properties that people have, I guess, emotional ties to Flash. I guess. I mean, there are a lot of like really fast kids out there that Flash means a lot to. I'm sure.
You don't know. Sounds like
You know
somebody
what?
who
I'm
was a
almost
little
positive there are.
sounds like this is coming from someone who was, a little upset growing up that they couldn't be that fast.
I was known as the slowest person in the city. Yeah. And I was given a very heavy medal. I believe to mock the fact that I was so slow. It was like, well, we couldn't slow you down. You won't be slowed down by this anymore, then it won't make a difference. So lead. Do you know what it feels like to be given a lead medal? This is I mean, the Olympics, they're giving you these precious jewels, and yet this albatross. It was a lead albatross. The medal was a lead albatross that they hung around my
Oh.
neck. And yeah, did somebody hit me in the head with an egg? Yes. And my parents have good aim. What can you say? Do you think that's affecting my opinion on the Flash? Is the fact that my little red tights I was wearing ripped open on Halloween, and I had been shoving all the candy into the tights. Why not? Don't need a bag.
Oh my
Embarrassing
gosh.
myself.
I'm crying. Oh, and I'm
Sorry.
sweating for some reason. It's so
Oh,
hot in this room. Oh my gosh.
that's Texas heat, right?
Oh, it
We got
would be.
Michigan,
It would be in like, except I'm in Louisiana, so
Louisiana heat, hot
yeah.
sauce, Crystal, baby, vinegar and cayenne.
Oh man, down here in the bayou.
Have you been getting good like Cajun food?
No,
Better.
we've been cooking a lot. Um, and also we're like northwest Louisiana, over by the
Okay,
Texas border.
okay,
There's a lot of seafood here. There is a lot of seafood here.
lovely.
Um, but
Language.
but yeah, it's hot though. Goodness gracious, it's hot here.
Yeah,
Yeah, very warm. Like
that's what it's like.
I think yesterday was our 24th day this summer that we hit at least 100 degrees. And let's see, we're only what, 2 months in? So tally
What's
that
the
up.
opposite what's the opposite of music to my ears? Because that would accurately describe those temperatures. Drills
Uh,
to my nose, I don't know.
yeah, drills to your nose or mace to your eyes. I don't
And I've
know.
experienced that a few times.
Let me tell you, back in Nam, it was
Yeah.
not it's not great.
I, I'm looking forward so strongly to the appearance of the 60-degree day, and
Yeah.
I can and I'm a guy who wears sweaters and tweed jackets
Yeah,
the
all the
majority of
time.
the time.
Yeah.
This is kill I mean, I can't even get rid of the Oxford. Even when it's hot, I still have to wear one.
Yeah. I don't think
I'm
I've ever
I'm
seen you in a t-shirt.
I don't you know why? Because I have a long neck and a small head, and I look like an emu. I have strict
Oh.
rules about that. I can't wear T-shirts unless I'm wearing a jacket. I can if I'm wearing shorts, gotta wear long sleeves. And if I'm wearing short sleeves, gotta wear pants.
Oh, man. Well, why is it what is it about human nature that makes us, is so insecure about things or makes us feel as though we need to change, and I've fallen prey to this, that we need to change the way we look about things. What is it? I don't understand. Where did that come from? I wonder, you know? Was it the king looking down at all the peasants saying, "Oh, yes, you aren't wearing this powdered wig, you peasant? Well."
You know what? And I haven't read that history book yet, but, and famously, the emperor shed his garb. He was in full nudity, as the French would say.
The
Just not
nudity.
yeah. Why? It's a great question. I'm not I mean, this is a question for somebody who's smart and not me. This is a question for, Sigmund, our buddy Sigmund, but, uh, I mean, in movies, it makes sense, of course, because your physical attributes are so
Criticized?
on display.
Yeah, really.
What a moron. Entirely a cliche. But, you have to be very cognizant of the way you're using your body. It's one
Yeah.
of the most impressive things about acting that I think, unless you're somewhat involved in that sort of sphere,
Mhm.
you might overlook is the way great actors use their, physicality,
Yeah.
uh, and that's maybe one of the hardest parts, when you say, I mean, to embody something so different from your own corporeality is
Mhm.
wild. So to me, in the industry, it makes sense that I mean, of course, it's a shame that people feel like they need to drastically alter for purposes that are largely outward facing.
Mhm.
A lot of the times, I feel like they're wrong. Obviously, that's some of the dysmorphia at play, right? The mental illness. But the thing about what makes, and you know what? This is going to be an amazing tying this back. What one thing that's so good about movies from the past is that more people were cast that had interesting faces.
Mm,
There's something, and it's a hard thing to talk about, but there is a certain quality actors that are compelling on screen have that is often outside of their control, where there's just something compelling about the way they look. And
yeah.
that doesn't necessarily mean attractive, it doesn't necessarily mean unusual, but just the way they hold the screen.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was, a director, and it's a slightly misogynistic observation, but was talking about Greta Garbo, and that you could flip her the image of her upside down, and it would still have the same compelling properties.
Mm,
And it's true. Somebody who has a face like that, it's remarkable to just look at them in terms of just something intangible.
mhm.
But that isn't in your control, and you can't fix that because it's also a combination of personality and other things. It's a
Yeah.
strange alchemical mix.
Yeah.
So that's my thinking. I don't know why on a psychological level outside of what we all know to be true, but I think being unable to tap into those things that feel necessary to tap into
Mhm.
might be a component there. What do you think?
I think you're right in the sense of, there is something that has to do with somebody's aura, that's compelling, in particular to see on screen, like, there are some people that can command, their presence alone can command the screen. Um, however, I mean, even people that are very, that don't have a very large, physical presence, the aura that they give out says otherwise.
Yeah, true.
Um, and in
I am
turn
God.
makes them bigger than they physically may be, or what have you. And so, but I think you're right. I mean, and I've fallen prey to this too, about, I mean, I'm kind of a hair freak, in terms of my hair, um but that's a whole nother discussion. Um, I think it is one of those things where, you know, you're right, on screen, everything visually, it is on display on this massive screen for people to see, or whatever. And so there's the thought that I think that you want to, appear your best. Um, but even to the sense of, like, people that, characters that look, really terrible. One thing that pops into my head is, like, Gary Oldman in, The Book of Eli. He's got what looks like, scarring or pock marks or something on his face, and his hair's greasy, and his teeth is kinda gross, and, but it works and he commands the screen so well because of the aura that he gives, I think.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think that really has a big part to play, and the physicality. I mean, to me, like look at the Rat Pack. I watched a video of it was them and
I was looking for him.
sorry. I watched a video of them and Johnny Carson. So it was, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., and Johnny Carson were all on stage performing "The Birth of the Blues" together at some event or some show, whatever. They're all dressed up in tuxedos or suits, and they're just up there having a good time. I mean, they didn't even make it through the whole song. They were just laughing and joking and playing, bits on each other and whatever. But then at the end, Frank, Dean, and Sammy, they did this little dance or what like this together, kind of like a little tap thing or whatever, and then they went off the stage to end the song. And then the camera angle switches to being backstage, looking out at the stage, seeing the audience as well, like a portion of the audience. And you see them walk out, all three of them walk out to bow. And when they walk out, it is almost like it was almost like there was a glow around each one of them when they walked out on that stage. It's amazing. I'll have to send it to you. Because, like, you can't take your eyes off of them. You're not even looking at the audience and their reaction. You're looking at how they're carrying themselves. The fact that they just walked out, they walked back out knowing that they just laid it down
right?
for that audience, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, and I feel like there isn't a lot of that anymore. I feel like there isn't a lot of that aura around anymore in entertainment, really, you
Right.
know, because everything is so right now, instant gratification, you know, there's not really, I feel like, a true movie star anymore. Not that it really matters, but in terms of the discussion for film and industry and stuff,
Yeah.
I feel like there isn't really. I mean, the only ones that I could really maybe think of that seem to have that sort of aura, I feel like Leo has that kind of aura. Um, Tom Cruise has that, you know, same aura, I think. But there's not too many, you know?
Yeah.
Meryl Streep has that aura. Denzel Washington has
Oh,
that
yeah.
aura. You know, but I look at some of the younger actors coming up and I don't see it, you know? So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where the industry goes and, you know, 'cause it's almost like to survive now, you have to be so out there all the time on social media, and you have to do 6 movies a year and to stay relevant and all this stuff. There's not too many people that can get away with doing 1 movie a year or 1 every few years and still be, like, you know, at the top. It's interesting.
And I and it's something I think about, this very question, the sort of the stardom
Mhm.
thing, because so much of that what you're talking about, the expectation to be, well, maybe to be a regular person, to be accessible, and to be constantly putting yourself out there. I'm always curious as to whether how artificial that is. If that's just something that is taken for granted by the industry as something you must do,
Mm.
and whether or not, because there's always those sort of recurring cycles where this is sort of how a star behaves,
Yeah.
must fit this model, and it changes. And then there's always exceptions within that. But then, how real is any of that? Or is it just people sort of trying to, one, trying to capture lightning in a bottle? And so by doing that, they try and make rules about how
Mm.
you're supposed to deal with lightning,
Yeah.
and trying to justify their own continued existence by acting as if they have some sort of knowledge that needs to be accessed directly from them.
Mm.
Because I think I think about it with in terms of advertising too, because you advertising more than anything else has so clear like genres, and you can see what is popular in the advertising world at any given time. You have, as an example, those Skittles commercials, sort of quirky. They're doing this
Mm.
strange kind of semi-surreal sense of humor. Everything is immediately copying that, and you have these little molds. What made that interesting in the first place was that it was doing something different, but it was a success, so then everyone feels the need to copy the success.
Yeah.
It's easier, um, and you can force the mode that way by sheer mass of thing. And I think a similar thing might be true, and maybe we're shifting towards a little bit more of a old school idea of stardom. I feel like slightly where people are not as expect they're not as expected to be always for the fans, always present, always real. I
Mhm.
think that backfired pretty immediately in terms of the health and well-being of both the fans and
Yeah.
the actors. And now, hopefully, you have people, and I think it's more interesting for movies when people are a little bit of a cipher,
Yeah.
and you're able to,
There's more mystique.
yes. And I like that. I like that movies are not real life. I want them to be as weird as possible.
Mhm.
They should be they should be special.
Yeah.
It is art.
Well, and Matt Damon said he said something talking about this very thing, and he had said, he goes, "I don't think, fans and everybody should know every single detail about my life." He goes, "There should be some mystery because when you go to the movie theater and I'm playing a character, I want you to see that character. I don't want you to see me." And so he goes, there should be some mystique around that, I think, and I think he's right.
Yeah.
I do. So what is your shifting a little bit? What before we get into the goods, what's your biggest pet peeve?
I'm a big pet peeve haver. I'm sure that's shocking.
No.
Um, let's keep it relevant.
All right.
Any sort of theater etiquette um, drives me bananas.
Wait, what do you mean? Like,
Any kind of inappropriate behavior,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
violations of the theater etiquette.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah. Okay.
fair correction there.
I thought you meant the actual like
No,
theater etiquette. I'm like, oh, so you just want a free for
no,
all or what?
I'm a psychotic about it. And since I was a kid, will yell at people. Now,
Nice, dude.
that has in the news, I have noticed that has gotten people shot, so I'm maybe a little I'm a little shyer
Yeah.
on it.
You
And
a
I
little gun shy
how
with that? Too soon? Sorry.
cut that. That was too much of a pun. You're not allowed to do that.
Oh.
I go now to also because I'm again 6 months late on everything. I go to like morning weird matinees when I can, or
Cheaper tickets,
cheaper tickets, and you don't have to deal with as much. And it's not even. It's so great when you're in the kind of movie where everybody's reacting to it really viscerally. That's a
Mm,
fun experience,
yeah.
and especially for certain kind of movies where that's part of it. You want to be part of this collective, and the like opening night premiere of a horror movie and no one's seen it, and there's just that unbelievable energy in the
Yeah.
air.
Yeah.
Everyone's screaming. Oh, it's the best feeling in the world. But when you've got people and there's you could see the light from their cell phones.
Mhm.
I,
Or they're
I,
talking or going up and down the stairs,
isn't
coming
it?
in and out of the theater.
It's shocking to me that why not? You're at the movie.
Mhm.
Why don't you want to enjoy the movie?
Yeah, and you
You're
paid
not
money.
forced to be there. You paid money, probably a lot.
Yeah.
Did you get the
Yeah.
popcorn? I know you did because you're
Yeah.
being loud with it. I don't even I don't even if I get popcorn, I finish it all before the previews because the sound of popcorn in movies drives me crazy.
You're just guzzling it, just shoveling it down beforehand, like, on
It's
the
just the
verge of throwing up,
saltiest
just
mouth.
just trying to get it down before the movie starts.
I'm embarrassing, yeah, and sure, I have grease all over myself by the time the movie's done because I ate the popcorn too fast.
Standing at the concession stand, be like, "Okay, look, let's see, I've got probably another 10 minutes before the trailer start. Am I gonna be able to eat that bucket? That's it. No?
Yeah,
You know what? Nope, I'm gonna skip the popcorn. I won't be able to finish it." Be like, "Sir, it's a
that's
2.5 hour movie." "No, no, no.
you
There's
don't
10
understand.
minutes until that movie starts.
I have
I have a 10-minute window to eat this, and this transaction's happening a lot long or it's going a lot longer than I was hoping for, so yeah, I can't do it.
yeah.
I gotta opt out. I gotta opt out of it."
And I know you relate to this too because we both had stints, yours longer and more substantial than mine, but we both worked at movie theaters.
Yeah,
And so it's like, man, come on. This is a magical place.
yeah.
Treat it like that.
People just defile it.
Ugh, with their nachos
Yeah.
and
Ugh.
their eyes.
And
Come
then their eyes.
Don't watch this movie. You don't get it. You don't appreciate it.
So, before we end the show, I always like to do a little segment called The Goods, and that's,
Yeah.
some more rapid fire questions to kinda pick your brain a little bit and see where we land.
Do my answers have to be rapid fire because I have a problem with talking too much?
No.
Okay,
No, just don't take forever.
I promise.
Anyhow, no, I'm kidding. Alright. Number one, if you could have dinner with any three comedians, dead or alive, who would they be?
So I've got 6 for you. But let's I'll just start with one grouping of 3.
Okay.
So my first grouping of 3 was Larry David,
Ah,
Elaine May, and Jordan Peele. So these
wow.
are 3 filmmaking comedians.
Yeah.
And if I had to add a 4th to that grouping, I would add Albert Brooks
Ah,
because I think, I one, I think they're all extremely funny, of course. How strange would it be if I picked people I didn't find funny? I guess I could have picked 3 comedians I thought sucked and poisoned the food or something, but,
but that could be
uh,
really interesting. It could be a really interesting dinner, you know?
I'm gonna get mad. I'm gonna get mad, I'm gonna end up eating too many breadsticks or
And
something.
and then they're gonna sit there and be like, "Why'd you invite us?"
Yeah.
Like, "Because I
This is
had
what you
hope."
use your wish for?
It's because I had hope. That's I had hope that maybe you could turn it around.
I thought
Now
we would
what's
connect.
now what's the other 3?
So, I'm gonna the other third well, of those, Albert Brooks. So, that was a 4, but it was based on, let's see, Larry David,
Oh gosh.
Elaine May, Jordan Peele. I would say I'll just go the other 2 would be Sam Richardson and Tim Robinson,
Okay.
who are best known probably for The Detroiters
Mhm.
and, Tim Robinson, obviously, and Sam Richardson for I Think You Should Leave. To me, these are some of the funniest things, and I, of course, am from Metro Detroit, and I know we would have a lot of one, I think they're the funniest, so I wanna just be around them,
Mhm.
and I know I would get to be an annoying Homer and just talk about all of my favorite conies and, things of that nature.
Yeah. I think I'd wanna sit down with and have dinner with Jerry Lewis.
By
Uh,
himself? Not
no,
Dino?
by himself, by
Okay.
himself. Because comedians, Jerry Lewis, Robin Williams, and Eddie Murphy.
That sounds brutal to me because, I
What?
I I love Eddie Murphy. He's one of my
Yeah.
absolute favorites. I think he's Eddie Murphy at his peak is possibly the funniest a person's ever been.
Yeah.
Certainly in contention. Sort of
In
that
contention for sure, yeah.
the Trading Places, sort of Coming to America, that
Beverly Hills Cop,
stretch, Beverly
48
Hills Cop,
1, 2, and 3.
48 Hours,
48 hours, yeah. Yeah.
and but I can see Robin Williams and Jerry Lewis together being a bit much.
Mm.
I feel like
But see, Jerry was very, reserved when he wasn't performing. He was very kinda sit back
you don't think he's gonna
and
be performing when Robin's there? They're gonna
I
amp
feel
each
like
other up.
oh, dude, I'd love to sit there and watch that. Just to watch their brains just, like, roll.
Yes.
That would be a masterclass of
But I think
improv.
they're too quick with each other. You might get overwhelmed,
That's true, yeah, you might get lost, I don't know.
and all of a sudden your soup's cold.
Yeah, nobody wants cold soup. Alright, if you could invent your own color, what would the name of it be?
So this is I like that this is a very abstract question, and I took 2 approaches to this. Is it a color, and then I put a bunch of adjectives in front of it
No,
to kind of
it's
describe something?
it's a new
Well, yeah,
name.
you're asking me. Don't get so prescriptive. But you're right. So I did come up with a whole new word,
Okay.
and I thought kind of splang felt right to me,
Okay,
which I
splang.
think is sort of a somewhere in the yellowish green family,
Interesting.
but not on the visible part of the spectrum. So
Yeah.
maybe this is if there's some sort of critter that can see
Splang.
outside of that. Splang.
Some animal that can see splang, but we can't. I like that, splang.
And doesn't it seem like it would be good on children's TV, like a Nickelodeon show?
Yeah.
Splang!
Yeah.
That would I think it would be a really popular color. I'm gonna say top 5 probably. So
Or it's like a new flavor of Capri Sun.
yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Splang brought to you by Capri Sun. Snap into a well, that's not right.
Snap it to its
Snap into a splang.
Oh, okay. Now, what is a place that you would love to visit around the world?
This is gonna be uh, the first thing that popped into my head. There's tons of places, of
Mhm.
course,
Yeah.
but number one that is in the top of my head right now is Yunnan, China, and this is for one particular reason.
How much did they pay you to say that?
Believe it or not, tens of dollars. I'm easily bought,
Tens of dollars.
but I am a big tea drinker,
Mm,
and there's a particular kind of tea that I like that grows in this area, and I've seen pictures of um, the mountains and stuff in this region where tea it is the birthplace of tea too. This
mm,
region, it's where the
mm.
plant originated,
Interesting.
and I just think that would be incredible to go to the tea farms, and meet the farmers and because when you see pictures of these places, they're incredible, and I would love to go there in person to
Yeah.
really embrace that in the same way that somebody would go to see a vineyard, which is also I've done and is a lovely experience. I'd like to do that with a tea plantation.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Have you ever had Harney& and Sons tea? Mhm.
Is there a relation?
No, but
Oh,
I just think it's cool. But it is
I
that
don't
is
think
an
I've had it, but
actual
I have seen the tin.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Harney& and Sons tea. Yep. I
You
remember
like tea?
what's that?
You like tea?
It's growing on me. Yeah, it's growing on me. I've never really liked hot drinks, but
Oh,
it
interesting.
it just always burns my mouth. Like even hot chocolate, I wait until it's, like, lukewarm before I drink it.
Tastes it
But
better too.
yeah, but it's growing on me, though. It is.
Okay.
Um, alright, so what are some things that you do to keep yourself centered?
So this is one I had a little trouble with because I'm not 100% sure of what that means.
So, like, what do you do to keep yourself grounded, keep yourself level,
Okay.
kind of, like, centered in the sense of, you're not wigging out about any, like, certain things, or you stay at an even keel, you know?
I I do like to embrace the wigging out in a creative way. So I'm not always trying to keep myself centered. But I would
Interesting.
say um, I have a lovely partner, my girlfriend Brittany,
Mhm.
and hanging out with her and laughing, I think is a major part of that.
Yeah,
And I am movie obsessed.
yeah,
So any part of it, being on set, as exhausting as it is,
mhm,
you just feel if you have a passion for it, you just feel incredible getting to pursue that. And
yeah,
especially the projects we've worked on have been with really cool people. We've met unbelievable people I never would have met otherwise, and it unbelievably satisfying, and I would say centering experience.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I like that. That's a great answer. Well, Ryan, thank you very much for being here, man.
Thank
Um,
you for having me.
it was great. It was great chatting with you, and it was good to see you. And yeah, I hope we can work together again soon. But yeah, it was just really fun talking to you. So thanks for coming on, man.
Well, I appreciate you having me, and hopefully, um, if this was deeply unpleasant, please let Patrick know that I did a bad job. And Patrick will forward me all of the complaints. Don't forward anything positive.
Who are we kidding? Nobody's making it to this point. All right, we'll see you. Thank you again to Ryan for being here. Thank you to all of you if you made it this far. Yeah, it was really fun, and I appreciate him coming on, and I appreciate all of you for always showing me some support. It does mean a lot, so thank you. And, yeah, we'll see you next week.